What if the daughter of a billionaire had only 3 days left to live, and the only person who could save her was a street kid with a dark secret? When science failed and time ran out, one desperate choice changed everything, but at a terrifying cost. Because in this world, every heartbeat comes with a price, and hers was never truly hers to begin with. Would you dare to take life from another, just to survive? Skull fire. Rain fell like shards of glass against the car's tinted windows. Inside, Alina Carter stared blankly at the world rushing past her. The city lights bled into streaks of golden blue, smudging like tears across her vision. Her chest rose and fell unevenly, each breath a reminder of time slipping away. 3 days. That was all she had left. The doctors had spoken in low, careful tones. Her father had thrown money at every possible cure, but even money had limits. Now she sat in silence, a prisoner in luxury. The mansion's marble halls felt colder than ever. Servants whispered when they thought she could not hear. Her father, a billionaire with power in his name, had not looked her in the eyes for weeks. He was too busy fighting the world to accept he was losing her. That night, Alina slipped out through the back gate. The air smelled of rain and exhaust. Her silk slippers sank into the muddy street, dark water soaking through. The city pulsed with life, sirens, laughter, footsteps, but none of it touched her. Then, near an alley, she saw him. A boy, maybe 16. Barefoot, wrapped in an old hoodie that clung to his frame like a shadow. He was kneeling beside a trash bin, trying to light a match against the wind. His face turned when he felt her watching. His eyes, sharp, alive, met hers. "What are you staring at?" he asked. His voice carried both defiance and hunger. Alina hesitated. She had never spoken to someone like him. Someone from the other side of her world. "I need to feel alive," she said softly. He raised an eyebrow. "You picked the wrong place for that." Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the wet street like broken glass. Alina flinched. He noticed. "Come on," he said. "You look like you could use some real air." She followed him, her dress dragging through puddles. They walked through narrow alleys where the walls were tattooed with graffiti and grime. The air smelled of metal, smoke, and rain. Every step took her farther from her world, and closer to something she could not name. At a broken bridge overlooking the river, he stopped. "This is where I come to think," he said. No noise. No one pretending to care. Alina stared at the rushing water. It looked endless. Beautiful. Terrifying. "What is your name?" she asked. "Eli." She smiled faintly. "Alina." Eli looked at her again, his gaze lingering on her pale face. "You are sick," he said, not asking. She nodded. "I am dying." He said nothing for a long moment. Then his jaw tightened. "Maybe you are not," he whispered. "Not yet." The wind howled through the bridge's rusted beams. Alina shivered, but something inside her stirred. For the first time in weeks, she felt heat, not from fever, but from hope. Eli turned, his eyes glinting. "There is something I can try," he said. "But it is dangerous." Her pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" He stepped closer. "Something I learned on the streets. Something people like your father would never believe in." A distant siren wailed through the night. Eli's voice dropped. "But if it works, you might just have more than 3 days left." Alina's breath caught in her throat. "Show me," she whispered. Eli nodded once, then led her into the darkness beyond the bridge. They vanished into the storm, where the city lights faded, and only the sound of the river remained. The rain grew heavier, drumming against metal and stone like 1,000 tiny hammers. Alina struggled to keep up, her breath coming in short gasps. The hem of her dress clung to her legs, soaked and heavy. Eli moved quickly, slipping between shadows as if he knew every secret corner of the city. They turned into an abandoned subway tunnel. The air shifted, colder, thicker, humming with an invisible tension. Alina hesitated at the entrance. Eli, she whispered, where are you taking me? He looked back, water dripping from his hair, eyes burning with something she could not name. Somewhere forgotten, he said. Where people go when they have nothing left to lose. She swallowed hard and followed him down the cracked concrete steps. The tunnel smelled of rust and damp earth. Flickering light from a single candle revealed strange symbols scrawled across the walls. They looked old, uneven, written in something darker than paint. Alina's heart thudded in her chest. What is this? Eli crouched beside the candle. This is where it started, he murmured. The place where I stopped dying. She stared at him. You were sick? He nodded slowly. They said I would not survive winter. But then, I met someone. He taught me how to take what the world does not give. Alina took a cautious step back. What do you mean take? Eli looked up. His face flickered between shadow and flame. Life, he said. You take life. Just enough to keep your own. Her stomach twisted. That is impossible. Impossible? He smiled faintly. You think money can buy everything, but you do not believe in this? The candle flame flared brighter, though there was no wind. The tunnel seemed to breathe, as if the darkness itself had come alive. Alina felt something, a pressure in the air, a pulse that was not her own. Eli stood and extended his hand. If you want to live, you have to trust me. Her fingers trembled as she stared at his outstretched hand. What happens if I do? She asked. You live, he said quietly. But someone else does not. A shiver crawled down her spine. Who? Eli's expression hardened. That depends on who you choose. The candle hissed and went out, plunging them into darkness. Alina's breath quickened as she heard footsteps, not Eli's, echoing from deeper inside the tunnel. She turned, heart pounding. Eli, who else is here? A voice answered from the dark. Someone who has been waiting for you. The voice was low. Calm. Almost too calm. It slid through the darkness like a blade across silk. Alina froze. Her throat tightened. Her eyes strained to see through the black. Eli's shoulders stiffened. His posture shifted, tense, defensive. Do not come closer, he said sharply. But the footsteps did not stop. They grew louder, each step echoing off the wet concrete walls. A shape emerged from the shadows. Tall. Thin. Wrapped in a long, tattered coat that glistened with rain. Alina could not see his face, only the faint reflection of two eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. 3 days, the stranger said slowly. Such a small price for a rich man's child. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Eli stepped in front of her. She came to me, he said. She wants to live. The stranger tilted his head. And you think you can give that gift without my permission? Eli's fists clenched. I learned from you. I know the ritual. The man laughed softly, a dry, hollow sound that filled the tunnel. Learned? No, boy. You stole. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating the tunnel's entrance for a brief moment. In that flicker, Alina saw it, his face. Half of it human. Half of it scarred, burned, the flesh twisted like melted wax. She stumbled back. Her heel struck a loose stone, and she nearly fell. Eli caught her arm, his grip firm. Do not run, he whispered. He can smell fear. The stranger stepped closer, the sound of his boots heavy, deliberate. His presence seemed to pull the air out of the space. Do you even know what it costs? He asked her. Alina shook her head, barely breathing. What costs? He smiled, a terrible, thin smile. Every heartbeat you gain must be taken from another. The candle reignited on its own, its flame flickering violently. Shadows danced across the walls, forming shapes that did not belong to either of them. Eli turned to her. You must decide now, he said quickly. If we start, there is no turning back. The stranger's voice thundered. She is not ready. I am, Alina said suddenly, surprising even herself. Her own voice trembled, but the fire in her eyes did not. I am not afraid to live. The stranger studied her for a long, cold moment. Then, slowly, he extended his hand toward her chest, not touching, just hovering inches away. The air between them rippled. Alina gasped as a wave of warmth surged through her, flooding her veins. Her vision blurred. Her pulse raced. The world tilted. Eli shouted something, his voice breaking in panic. The stranger's silver eyes flared bright, then went completely dark. And suddenly, everything went silent. No rain. No sound. No breath. Alina blinked. The tunnel was gone. She stood alone in a vast, endless field under a gray sky. The wind whispered through the grass, carrying a single voice. Eli's. Alina, you chose. Her name echoed across the empty field. Soft at first. Then louder. Then gone. Alina turned in every direction. There was nothing, no tunnel, no city, no Eli. Only the wind and the pale sky stretching forever. Her bare feet sank slightly into the cold soil. The grass brushed her ankles like the touch of unseen hands. A faint mist curled around her knees, rising, breathing. She whispered, Eli? No answer. Only the distant hum of something, low, rhythmic, pulsing. It came from beneath the ground. Her heartbeat synced with it. Strong. Steady. Alive. She looked down and saw the faint outline of veins glowing under her skin, silver, moving like rivers of light. She stumbled backward, horrified. What is happening to me? A voice, softer now, answered behind her. The exchange has begun. She spun around. Eli was there. But something was wrong. His eyes, the warmth she remembered, were gone. Now they shimmered faintly, like mirrors. You said I would live, she whispered. He nodded. And you are. But life always demands balance. The wind picked up, carrying whispers that were not words, voices murmuring, crying, pleading. The mist thickened. Shapes began to form within it. Faces. Dozens of them. Men. Women. Children. Their eyes were hollow, their mouths moving silently, their expressions twisted in pain. Alina clutched her chest, gasping as a deep ache spread through her body. I can feel them, she said, trembling. All of them. Eli stepped closer, his voice low and sharp. You took from them. You borrowed their time. Their breath keeps your heart beating. Tears welled in her eyes. No, no, I did not want this. He reached out, touching her shoulder. You asked to live, Alina. And the world always listens, but never for free. The sky darkened above them, clouds churning like smoke. The ground trembled. From somewhere far away came a scream, distant, but human. Eli's gaze snapped upward. They are coming. Who? She asked, her voice shaking. The ones who were chosen to die in your place. The wind roared, carrying shadows that moved against the light. Figures appeared on the horizon, walking slowly toward her. Their steps were uneven. Their eyes locked on hers. Eli grabbed her hand. We need to move. Now. But she could not look away from them. Each face seemed familiar, as if she had seen them somewhere before. The woman from the bakery. The man who sold newspapers on the corner. The child who smiled at her car that morning. Her breath hitched. They are real, she whispered. I know them. Eli's hand tightened. Yes, he said grimly. Because their lives are yours now. The sky cracked open with thunder. The ground split beneath her feet. And from the heart of the storm, the stranger's voice rose again, cold, echoing, merciless. Every gift must be returned. The sound of his voice seemed to vibrate through her bones. The air thickened, heavy, electric, until it pressed against her chest like invisible hands. Alina gasped, stumbling backward as lightning tore across the gray sky. The ground beneath her cracked open wider, threads of white fire pulsing through the soil like veins. The figures kept coming. Slow. Silent. Their hollow eyes glowed faintly in the storm's light. Eli pulled her away from the edge, shouting over the roar. "You cannot let them touch you." She turned to him, terrified. "Why? What happens if they do?" "They take back what you stole." Her pulse thundered in her ears. Rain began to fall again, sharp, cold, metallic. It stung her skin, tasting of iron and ash. Alina's breath came in shallow bursts. "I did not ask for this." Eli's face twisted, part anger, part sorrow. "You did. You asked to live. And the world always obeys the desperate." One of the shadowed figures broke into a run. Its face was that of a man she recognized, the driver who had taken her to the hospital last week. His mouth opened, screaming soundlessly as his hand reached for her. Eli yanked her aside, and the figure's fingers grazed her sleeve. Her arm burned instantly, a searing pain that shot through her veins like fire. She screamed. The veins under her skin turned dark, spreading fast. Eli ripped the sleeve away and pressed his palm against her arm. A strange light flared between them, silver and red, and the darkness stopped spreading. He winced, breathing hard. "I can hold them back, but not for long." Alina's tears mixed with the rain. "What do I do?" "Run." "Run where?" "Anywhere away from the dead." But the figures were closing in from every direction. The field that once seemed endless now felt like a trap. The mist coiled higher, thick as smoke, swallowing the horizon. The whispers grew louder, thousands of them now, pleading, cursing, weeping.